right?
Go for it.
Lent is a moment in which our churches are plunged into the stories and the places surrounding Jesus. How has your experience of the Holy Land affected the way that you speak or preach about these sacred moments? Sure. Well, something that when I was on my way to, participate in this roundtable discussion was the way that on our very first night when we were there, when I was blessed to share that experience with Father Matt and Father Michael here, we prayed evening prayer together, and it was from Psalm 122. Now our feet are standing within your gates, Jerusalem. And it's, as seminarians, we had already begun to pray the Liturgy of the Hours every day. And suddenly praying that text within the gates of Jerusalem with my brothers, and hearing it literally come alive. So certainly my experience is that you hear Scripture, you approach Scripture in a very different way, and certainly throughout the Lenten season as we, whether it's Jesus, talking to his disciples about the cross, or preaching a parable, or healing someone, you can't hear it without kind of being in that place. I was there, I was there when that place where Jesus said that, or where Jesus fell, or and to pray, and especially to pray the Psalms, our ancestors in the faith, well before Jesus, praying those Psalms and looking forward to the, really in the sense, looking forward to the coming of the Messiah. But yeah, to hear Scripture in a totally different way, which helps you to form the way you preach on it.
I'm going to share something embarrassing. My first time there, which is back in 2008, I've been 5 times. The last time was just this past November, so a few months ago. But the embarrassing thing is I've been reading the Scripture pretty much all my life, and honestly I thought the Sea of Galilee was a sea. I thought it was this massive body of water. I thought it was salt water. In fact, a number of our listeners may be thinking the very same thing. Sea of Galilee is 13 miles long, 6 to 8 miles wide, fresh water, 135 feet deep, they say. And this is where Christ was. The northern shore, Capernaum, you read it, you hear these cities and towns all over, Capernaum, Tiberias, Cana, the Jordan Valley, the Jerusalem. It is there that the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord. It's this long drive all the way up from the Mediterranean Sea, from Tel Aviv, from the airport, all the way up. So to put all of this in perspective of where Christ lived, picturing that he's walking, it's 80 miles, these distances, 80 miles from Jerusalem to Galilee, 25 miles from Galilee, from Capernaum, where he lived, to Nazareth, where he grew up. To have all of this in perspective, to know the miracles where they happened, to me it just fit. And when you read the Scriptures, I always say, all the other vacations we go on, whether it be the Grand Canyon, or those who've gone to Disneyland, or Cape Cod, or wherever you go, from time to time, maybe we think of those experiences and those nice vacations. But this is more than a vacation. It's not a vacation, it's a pilgrimage. And for us as brother priests, when we read the Scriptures every day, I don't know about you, but when we read it, to me, it's just, you have a visual, you have a place, a picture. And I think in our preaching, it's very beautiful to share that picture with our parishioners and help it come to life for them as well.
Yeah, I'm a very geographically minded person as it is, so then being there and putting it all into its perspective is, makes the gospel come alive in a different way. But that verb in that question that Father Lerner just read, with being plunged into something, I think of 2 specific encounters that I had with the Lord in my own prayer life when I was there. One of them I might save for another question, but one of them is physically plunging, which is one of my favorite gospel passages is towards the end of the gospel according to John, when Jesus calls the disciples back to the beach to have breakfast with them, and we have the famous exchange between Peter and Jesus, "Do you love me?" And there's the chapel of the Church of the Primacy of Peter there on the northern shore of the Sea of Galilee, and there's a state park, or a nationwide park next to it called Tobguts, where 7 springs come into the lake, and you can go there and swim. And so I actually went into the water of the Sea of Galilee and swam out, and it's the same area where Peter swam back to shore after saying, it is the Lord, let me go and see him. So I always think of that as being this moment of kind of plunging into the geography itself and saying, I swam the same place where Peter swam ashore to encounter the Lord. And that makes that gospel, which is always dear to my heart, even more clear in my mind of what does it mean to jump in and swim out or swim back.
Same waters that Christ walked on. It's just a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.